Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Back in the silver C63 project car. I thought I'd bring you a little bit of an update. Still going really good. Just gone over the 300 mile mark in it now. No issues at all. I have purchased a laptop to try and bring you some better videos and some better editing. I've also bought a new camera, which is what we're on now. I have re-edited all the C63 project footage into one video. The reason I've done that is we've picked up a lot of new subscribers since we did that project. If you're new, you can watch it in one video and enjoy. And if you've seen the old videos and it was in, was it 4 or 5 parts, I can't remember, it's all been re-edited so you can watch it again and give us some feedback. Obviously I'm a mechanic, I'm not a video editor, I am not a presenter either. Hopefully the new video will be appealing to new viewers and old. Plus it's given me a chance to just test out the new camera in the car. Everything previously has been done on my phone, videoing and editing, so hopefully I'm doing a bit of a better job. When we first started the project, we didn't have microphones, so the first roughly about 10 minutes the audio quality is pretty terrible, so you might want subtitles on, you might not. We've also had to get rid of some music for copyright reasons, so hopefully we've done a good enough job of that before anybody pulls me about it in the comments. Appreciate everybody's support, like and subscribe.
Make sure everything's right before we start it up.
Pipe's not in.
As you can see, pipe's not clipped in there.
Got it. Rubbing on that. That should be up here. Bonnet release cable's not right. That is upside down. That should be in there, but not twisted. I'm going to have to just zip tie that to there, just so it's safe to start.
Yep.
Don't know if you can see, but that bolt there is either the wrong one or not fitted right or something, because it's stuck out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that when we start it up, but too keen to see if it starts to not try it.
Go.
Jump packs on, we've got coolant, oil, some pipes secured out the way so they don't rub on the engine, fuel in, so she comes, eh? Dead. So we've just remembered it's got a ghost alarm fitted. It's been sat here for a month, so we forgot. Exhaust is blowing, engine management lights on.
Stick it in drive, see if it goes anywhere. Bit of a knocking noise then. Spitting out a load of water. Yeah, every time you rev it spurts out.
What have we found so far, Nath?
Well, if we start actually at the front end of the car, first thing we've found is
Not good.
well, the cat's separated from the
Cat
exhaust.
split. That's not uncommon actually. I've had to have a couple of them re-TIG welded, so that's our exhaust blow.
Yeah, that'd be
We
cool.
have actually been looking at this for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, not even that.
There is a bit of a oil leak going on here. What looks like oil feed pipes,
Not secure.
just hanging around.
It's had new chatwood ends and tie rods,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad thing. It's had new anti-roll bar links. Good job that we're taking this sump pan off, because
actually corroded, isn't it?
It's really badly corroded. That's just got to start leaking at any time. So we definitely need a sump pan. What is actually really scary is, I don't know if you can see in there, but the bolts for the engine mounts that hold the mount to the subframe are missing. Both sides, the bolts are missing. See that? No bolt. No bolt. So this is why we're giving it an inspection first, because this car is definitely not safe to drive. Look at that. That's rubbing on the aircon pump. That's not good, is it? That should be, they were nearly there. That just needed to go in there. So that's rubbing on the aircon pump. We've got no engine mount bolts holding the engine in. That's not right. There's a bracket missing. That should be in there. The bracket, I presume the pipes are bent. Something not right there.
That's actually rubbing up against the sump there.
Oh yeah. It's rubbing. So far not so good. P0s all round. Tyres are actually pretty good. It's had new brake pipes, you can't really see. Oh, look at that. Nice. Rear prop coupling split. That's not uncommon. For the time being, we're just gonna pump some oil in it to save us pushing it around, and it'll give the gearbox a bit of a flush when we do service it properly. But for now, we're just gonna pump 4 litres in it, just to save us pushing. See, it'd be interesting to see if anything comes out.
Don't think it will. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
3, 2, 1.
So we filled up the gearbox fluid, and the car now drives. Well, I wouldn't like to drive it down the road, but I'll say it moves. And that horrible knocking noise we had when we were manoeuvring the car, we found all the steering rack bolts were loose. So that is pretty dangerous. So we're going to chuck it back on the ramp now. We've sussed out that's what the noise is, show you what bolts were loose, but we're going to have to check every single nut and bolt on this car, because it's whoever's fitted the engine, it's like half finished. There's so much stuff that's not right, and work our way through it. But positive point, the car now moves. So basically we're going to start at the top and work our way down. So get rid of all these zip ties we put in, holding everything out of the way so it's not rubbing on anything. We're going to take all that off, take all the pipes off, and start routing them the right way around. Straight away I can see another clip missing. That goes in the radiator. Basically, there should be one of them on there. So that's something else we need to order, but at least we can swap that round. So have a look down here. We think that pipe is on completely the wrong way around, so because it's just rubbing against the fan. So I'm going to take it off and have a look. So we are thinking that should have gone on that way. So hopefully you can see here, but where the clip sits in each side, that's what holds either side here. So before you ever refit one of these, you need to make sure that these are still proud, because as you can see it's got rust spots. Sometimes they go flat and it won't hold your pipe in. When you push it in, you should hear a nice click like that, and then always give it a good pull back. Don't be afraid to give it a good pull, because it's under a lot of pressure. So if I'd rather it pop out now than going down the road. There we go, nice and secure. If you look down there now, I've got loads of clearance from the fan, whereas before it was just running against it. And that's it for the top end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just put this breather back in. And that goes in there, hence the white marks. Need a clip for there to hold that. Just goes to the thermostat. So if you can remember last time, these are gearbox cooling pipes. There should be clips inside there, and then that should go over the top to hold them together, otherwise they're just going to separate. So these are the clips. Just got to get them in, get these pipes secured, and then keep finding more stuff. So once the clip's in, if you have a look here, so once that's in, then that goes over the top like that, and then that stops the clip coming out. So now that's secure in there, it won't come out. It's the same with this one. Clips in, push that over, and then that's secure. Don't know if you can remember from the last video, we had a really bad knock when we was turning in and out of the garage, and what we found was these bolts, every single one for the steering rack was loose. So we've tightened all them up and that noise has gone. So that's what that was. What have we got next? This bracket here, that pipe should be in there, should be a clamp on there. So that's, woohoo. That should go in there, but hold both of them in. So this pipe must be bent a bit. So we are actually gonna have to be a little bit rough and bend it back. It looks a bit rough this, but
We'll have to do, won't it?
you've got, there's no professional way of bending something back in shape.
Yeah.
Right, clamps in, and we've got it fitting pretty good round there now, pretty happy with that. So we've got clearance off the sump now, the pipes aren't touching at all. That clamps in. Next job, exhaust is leaking, so we need to get that off, get it welded, keep going. So exhaust off, we're not going to try and unscrew the landers, we're just going to unplug them instead, leave that attached. So we've got two landers, take that off. Oh, that weren't even plugged in. Yeah, that wasn't plugged in properly. Good job of taking the exhaust off. We've got two bolts up the top. We've got two 13s, exhaust bracket.
Gonna have to chop that off, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not going to try and undo that. We're just going to cut that straight off and then put a new clamp on it. So, normal exhaust is off, and then the rest of it is here. That should be attached to that. So we're going to have to figure out what position that went in to get it right, otherwise it's never going to line up. I'm going to have to find the position it goes on, which to me it seems to fit the tightest there. If you get the camera in there, you can see if I move it back it comes up. Just there, I reckon. I know what everyone's going to say now. They're going to say, why don't you decat it? So I think what we'll do for starters is we'll, where I've marked, we'll just tack weld it and have a trial fit, because if we get this wrong, it's just not going to fit at all. Yeah, I would say that's the right position. So
Yeah, all lining up.
we'll weld that.
Gonna come back out, yeah?
Yep. So just a bit of a brain flash. The engine mounts didn't have any bolts holding them in. We've got the exhaust off. Let's bring the camera over here. I think it seems a shame not to just change the whole mount on both sides, which would mean us taking the other exhaust off. it's kind of a while you're in there job. There's going to be a lot of while you're in there. The bolts are missing anyway. There's only one more bolt holding it in. We'll jack the engine up and we will just spend more money and change mounts. If you can get your fingers in between the roll bar and the sump, the general rule is that your mounts are okay. I can't get my fingers in there, so that would tell me that they're worn out anyway. It seems a shame not to do it, seeing as though I say we're halfway there. We're not really, because we've got to do the other side, but we may as well. It's a common fault on this end, on M156s, so it's going to be better for the next owner just to know that the engine mounts have been done. First thing we are going to want to do is get this airbox out and get to the bolt at the top of the mount, which, yes, it has got one in, unlike the underneath. So get that out. In fact, come here. So basically, put that on a long extension, and you can get all the way down onto the bolt and undo it. Otherwise, it's a struggle. Really good tool this. So if anyone's planning on doing this job, I'd recommend buying these first. I think it's a 16mm. Be interesting to see how tight these are actually.
Not very tight though. Just cut off the exhaust brackets and it has just started leaking out loads of water, which will explain, well, all the water coming out of the exhaust when we're revving it. Yeah, as you see, it's just leaking and leaking. So, assuming as soon as we take this apart, it will just go everywhere. Yeah.
Loads of water's come out, which could be proving our theory right, really, that I think when the last engine's blown up, it's just dumped a load of water in the exhaust. Can we go? Yeah, we can get it there like that.
Wait.
Just leave it.
Yeah.
I don't know how Nathan is trying to catch water.
I didn't want it to go on the floor.
Hey, catch that water, mate.
Come on. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
shit, yeah.
Got water in the exhaust.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, we've got the engine propped, so I'm just going to wind this up on one side to tilt the engine up so I can get one mount out, lower it on the new one, and then do it on the other side. A lot of people try and lift the whole engine. I just don't really like doing that, and that's what we're doing, so let's get it done. I'm kind of glad that we are doing this because this top bolt doesn't feel right. And what I mean is it's been tight coming the whole way out, so. One mount.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, that mount is actually burst, so I'm glad we're changing that. That's why you do the while you're in there jobs. So I said that the bolt felt tight coming all the way out. Well, it didn't feel tight, it was tight. I've just got it out and it's bent. So we cannot reuse that. So it's a good job we're doing the while you're in there engine mount because it's burst and we've got a bent bolt. So before we put the new one in, you can see how much higher it is. So you're going to get more clearance at that roll bar that I was talking about before, and it'll run smoother because obviously this one is not collapsed. But these are the bolts that were missing from underneath, which go in there through the subframe. That one goes through the engine mounting bracket to the block. So we're going to have to rest it in for now. I'm going to put these underneath loose.
Yep.
If you tighten them up, you will struggle to line the mount up. To give us a bit of play. Again, passenger side one out. If you look at the wings, just call them wings because they look like wings, you can see the difference in the gap.
Let's get this new one in.
Nip them up for now because we haven't got a bolt for this side, for the top, to make it secure. It's more secure than it was, but we need more stuff. That's off, that's not attached. Come back around the front so I can get my full hand in there now.
Yeah, all the way in.
Up to your knuckles. We're going to do the gearbox mount. Personally, I would, if I'm doing engine mounts, I always do a gearbox mount, whether it needs it or not. It's cheap enough to do, it's quick enough to do, and why not? Another while you're in there job. This is getting expensive.
Really quick.
So we've only got one exhaust on, so it's going to be pretty loud. Ooh, that's the wrong key for the car. Okay, we've now got the right key for the car. Right, so we've got a replacement bolt, nice and straight, get rid of that bent one. So now we can finish the job off, getting the right hand exhaust back up there and get that in the top, which goes up there. I'll get round the back here and I'll hold this rear end up. Whilst we're fitting this, I have priced up both sides if you was to replace them and not weld them, and the total price is £6,000. So next time your mechanic wants, I'd probably charge 400 quid to do this. Just pay him. Don't say, how much? 400 quid for a bit of welding. £6,000 for that and that.
Definitely worth it.
Quick investigation into the management light fault. Plugged it in and everything's full of faults. So what we're going to do for now is just clear the whole car and see what comes back, because there's far too many to process there. So we've done a couple of ignition cycles and we have got a code back in the engine management light for a cooling fan fault. We did also have the coolant light on, so that will bring engine management light on. So we need to make sure it's plugged in for a starting point. So we've just gone underneath the car to inspect the plug and it's not even plugged in. So this could actually be a really simple fix. Close, but not close enough. So let's see if the code's gone stored. Right, so we've plugged in the cooling fan and we've now got no faults. So we're just going to do a short road test, nothing crazy. Sounds good. That was 30 mile an hour. Engine actually driving really well, pulls well. It is smoking a little bit, but I'm presuming it's just the rest of the water in the exhaust. Right, back to the garage. Pretty happy with that road test. We are going to address an oil leak we've got, which is coming from this side rocker cover. So we're going to take it off and inspect it. Hopefully it's just the gasket and not that, but we will find out. It also looks like it's leaking from this cam cover as well, so we've got a gasket for that. This should be ready to come off. Let's have a look in here. This will actually also give us a really good opportunity to check the camshafts. Camshaft lobes and tappets are common for wearing out on these. These actually look in really good condition, very good condition in fact. Another while you're in there job, if you're doing rocker cover gaskets, I would highly recommend also doing the camshaft adjuster gasket, which is that, which if you look here, we've dropped the front cover off and you can see that gasket is flat. It should be proud of the aluminium, as in to create a seal, whereas that is flat in that corner. It's pretty much all round, so it's probably leaking from there as well. So Nathan's refitting the camshaft cover. He's got to torque it back on.
Yeah, torque it to 9 Newton meters, get it on.
Anything low torque specification should always torque really, especially with gaskets are involved and stuff like that. Another while you're in there job, we've just took the spark plugs out whilst we're in this area, and they do look like they've been replaced, but because we don't know the history of the car, we're just going to change them anyway, so we're just starting afresh. I mean, you can see the difference. That is not actually that old, that plug, I can tell you that, but we just don't know how long it's been in there. So because we don't know the age of it, we're just going to change them. Right, this bank's done, rocker's on, coil pack's in. I have changed the bolts for the self tappers to match the rocker cover. We're going to do spark plugs on the other side and change those bolts as well. When they've done the engine swap, they have put new injectors in, which is good because that's what caused the old engine to blow up in the first place. That's also a common issue. So from last video, this clip, which looks like nothing but it's quite important, stops this pipe moving, which connects to the thermostat, and I can't tell you how delicate that thermostat is. It's so easy to break off, so this just keeps that pipe a bit sturdier. Have a look here, that goes in there, that goes in there, and that's it. So that now clips in there, goes through there and straight to that, so that's nice and secure. Somebody's definitely not taught that in. That's supposed to be 25 Newton meters. So I'll guarantee when you take this out, which we won't do now because it'll leak everywhere, I bet the filter's crushed. Get the oil drain in. A lot of people, when they service these, don't drain the oil cooler, which has a drain on it, so you should always drain that as well. I can tell you now, that doesn't look like it's ever been undone. So we're going to drain the oil out of that as well. So what we're going to do is a little experiment. We are going to drain the oil cooler into a little measuring jug, just to see how much you get out of it. So let that drain, let the big sump drain. You can see how much you get out, and a lot comes out. Just over half a litre out the oil cooler. Right, new filter, genuine. Right, Nathan's pouring the oil back in. This engine takes 8.5 litres, so I always put 8 in and just put a bit more to check it and work my way up. They are a bit temperamental, these, to check the oil on them. So 8 litres to start with, should be 8.5 total. Okay, as I thought, 8 litres in, it's just at the bottom of the dipstick, so another half a litre will get us where we need to be. And we've discovered the coolant leak problem. Not sure if you can see that, but we've found the coolant leak. It's leaking from the top of the water pump. I don't know if that is a gasket issue or the pump itself. It's right at the top and I've just caught it leaking out. You can see it bubbling away in the corner there. Right, back underneath the car, we are going to do a gearbox service. If you remember from the last video, it's obviously all badly corroded and we've got to service the gearbox anyway. We filled it up with fluid to get the car moving, so it'll have a bit of a flush as well. So it'll be interesting to see what colour the fluid is when we take it back out. At the same time, we are going to service the diff oil. Really, you should always do that at the same time as your gearbox. It's something that gets neglected a bit, really. Just gonna see what colour the oil is coming out, seeing as though we only filled it up, but we have done a road test, so.
Yeah, hanging.
Remember when it went in, it was literally cherry red. that is black straight away, so that's why we wanted to fill it up, drive it and flush it out. So that's just been floating around in the sump. So good job we're doing this. You can see how dirty the filter is there. Another job I'm glad we're doing. But yeah, you don't want 2 drain tubes hanging around in your sump. But we'd have never known that unless we're taking it off. Look at that colour of that. So this is definitely a neglected diff and gearbox. So I'm glad we're doing it. We are replacing the prop shaft coupling because it's split in certain places. Brand new one. Genuine unit. See how that's gotten perfect. New bolt set. So new prop shaft coupling is in. Nathan's just tightening it all up. New bolts. And that's another job done.
Here you can see the water pump. If you remember from the last video we did, we could just about see it seeping out of the back of it where it mates against the block. Looked like it was coming from the gasket. You can see all that pink stain where it was coming from. We've removed a couple of pulleys to gain access to have a bit of a visual. I've ordered a new water pump with a gasket in case we need the full thing, and now we're going to get it off and inspect it.
Water pump's out. We weren't able to get that pipe out of the water pump, so we've took it off complete so we can see if we can get it out. But you can see the back of the pump there where the coolant's been building up and leaking out. Right, we've got the pipe detached from the pump, and you can see that O-ring is swollen. So we're not going to refit that pipe. We could just change the seals, but because I know this is a common pipe to go anyway, as I explained from this band here, we're just going to fit a new one. We're in there, aren't we? While you're in there, removing the water pump, you've got to take this tensioner pulley off, and we noticed on removing it how thin it is. That is not the correct pulley, or something is wrong. Looks like someone's cut it down or something, because when you compare it, the width of it to the official one, it's nowhere near. So good job we're taking that off. Again, while we're in there, we're going to put new pulleys on. So this is what we're going to be fitting: new water pump and gasket, new pipe, pulleys. We've got more pulleys to go on it. Going to change the belt. I don't like that belt that's come off it, so we're going to put a proper Merc belt on it. So we're just putting the rest of the pulleys back on. Just thought before I put the last one on, I'll just demo a worn pulley and a good pulley. So I've got that off. You can do it when it's on the car, but it's off. See how much it's spinning, the noise it's making. And I'll compare that to a new pulley. Just stops instantly. That's what you want. So that's obviously new. That's old, no good. Got to put the belt on. We're going to put it on so Mercedes AMG is facing us. So when you look under your bonnet, you can see a nice AMG badge on your belt. Right, belts on, all the pulleys on, water pumps on, our coolant pipes on. Fill it up, get it bled up, and then that is the water pump job done. Alright, first thing we're going to do is check the brake fluid with a brake fluid tester. We are going to change it regardless of the result because we don't know the age of it.
It's alright, 1%.
So how this system works is green, amber, red. Red being needs replacing, amber is okay, green is literally good to go. We're going to replace it anyway because we don't know the age. Mercedes recommend brake fluid to be done every 2 years. They don't go off a brake fluid test, they go off every 2 year basis. First thing we're going to do is extract the old fluid out of the reservoir, and then we are going to set it up on our brake fluid machine, which will pressurize the fluid coming out of all 4 calipers. Connecting the bottle to the nipple. We're probably going to do 250 ml at each corner, and then obviously at the front we've got 2 nipples for each side, so total we'll probably bleed out about 1.5 litres of brake fluid, which is way more than the system holds, but that way we know we've got all the brake fluid out. On the last corner of bleeding the brake fluid, as you can see, we've got 1 litre out so far, another 2 nipples to go. So we're coming to the end of the brake bleed. We are just coming up to 1.5 litres on the last nipple. Right, coolant's done, brake fluid's done, so we can move on to some cosmetics now. We're going to put the number plate plinth on. We're going to get the front cover on the engine. Don't know if you remember, but there's no clips on it and you can't buy them separate. So I've actually got the exact amount that I need.
There we go.
Feel like it's finally looking a bit more complete.
C63.
Yeah. I don't know why people do that.
Yeah, it don't look the greatest, does it?
It's like a cool thing to do, and I think it looks rubbish. So, fit there. That's upside down. Do you ever use these?
Clean set.
How much better does that look? That has been driving me mad since the day it arrived. Moving on to the interior, we have got carbon pollen filter we need to fit. We've got a set of wiper blades, genuine, and we're going to do an explanation as to why we like genuine blades. We've also noticed that on the radio, the spinning option on it doesn't work, so which would indicate there's a fault with that. However, I have had a look on eBay, and apparently, well, it's not apparently, it is a common fault that this little stem snaps. So we're going to have a go at replacing that to save us buying a full switch. Also noticed that there is no cup holder, so eBay again, found a little cup holder that slots in there just to finish it off nicely. I think it's about a 10 of that, 10 quid well spent. So hopefully we're getting a few cheap fixes on this video. Nice little cup holder, hopefully that little stem to fix the wheel. Right, Nathan has stripped down the, what would you call it? Multimedia
swivel.
spinel thing.
Swivel, yeah.
And the pin is broken inside.
I thought this would be quite a simple job, but it isn't. Where's the new pin?
I have no idea. Should be down there. You took it out. Tell me.
Oh, it's there.
Oh.
So there's the new pin. There's the broken one. Alright, let's see if Nathan's handiwork is working.
Hopefully. No.
No!
No.
You plugged it in?
It's not plugged in.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Right. Attempt number 2.
Yep. Plugged in proper.
Is it working? No. Take the key out.
Oh, there we go.
Hey!
Probably just have to find it for like teeth, innit? There we go.
Well done, mate.
Alright, get it back together.
Right, well done, Nathan. Finish it off.
Fit this, well, cup holder properly. There we go.
Nice,
Proper
get your brewing
cup
there
holder
now.
Job's a good one.
Right, we're going to fit the wiper blades. If you have a look at these here, these aftermarket ones, look at that fitment on that. This is why we don't like them. So I'm going to take this off, put a Merc one on, and I'll show you how much neater it is. Have a look at that now. How much neater is that to these multi-fitment? And you get a nice little badge on it, and you get a wear indicator on the other side to let you know when they've worn out. So that's why we only fit genuine wipers, because non-genuine ones look rubbish. So we have just moved on to tracking the front end of the car, and we've noticed a problem that we can't track it. So I'm going to show you what's happened and why we can't finish the job. So, as you've seen on a previous video, it's had new inner tie rods and track rod ends, inner tie rod, track rod end. So we thought, oh great, this is going to track nice and easy. And then just as we've started, we have noticed that it's got 2 left-handed track rod ends on it. That L is for left. And notice the curve, it's curving towards the wheel, it should curve away from the wheel. So it's got, that is the correct way, that's correct, and that is not. So we've got a left-hand side track rod end on the right-hand side, so we're not going to be able to track it correctly. Okay, back on C63, Reese has fitted the correct track rod end, so we can get back to tracking it. As you can see, R for right, left for left, bottom toes back in. He's done the left, he's going to do the right, and then that's tracked up. After we finished the tracking, we put the vehicle on the nitrogen test for the air conditioning to see if it would hold pressure, and it wouldn't. We had a massive bang and a massive leak basically of nitrogen. So put it on the ramp to see what's happened, and we've discovered that the pipe isn't bolted into the pump, as you can see here. Okay, we've got the pipe out. Hopefully you can see where it should go into, which is just there. The bolt wasn't tight, that holds the pipe into the pump. And we've also noticed the seal that was on it is the wrong one, it was too big. So we've got the right seal now. So we'll get that back on, get it re-pressure tested, hopefully it'll pass this time, and then we can regas it. And now we're back on the nitrogen test. I think we're at about 10-15 bar of pressure, which has been holding now for a couple of hours, so that's good news that we're now holding pressure. So then we can move on to actually put in some gas in the car and check the air conditioning works.
Now we've moved on to the air conditioning machine. We're all charged up with fresh gas. We've got the car running, and we can confirm that we have a working air conditioning system. So that's good news. Another part that we realised is missing during reassembling the car is the rear under tray. So we've got a brand new one from Mercedes. It wasn't too bad actually. I think it's about £50 with new bolts. Bolts are about £2.50 a pop at the minute. So Nathan's just popping us a new under tray on, so that completes the underside of the car. And then we discovered we have a puncture. So we've marked that up. We're going to take that wheel off, take it to the tyre shop and get them to clean and reseal the rim. We're happy there's no cracks or anything like that. Now the soap's settled down, here you can see where it's bubbling away. It's just a quick and easy way to determine where you've got a puncture coming from. So we'll get that wheel off, get it to the tyre shop. Right, so we've got the wheel back from the tyre shop, all sealed up. Here we are, just giving it a good scrubbing. As you can see, it's been stood for a long time. Look at that dirt coming off that. It actually came up pretty good after a wash. So that's the end of the video. Hopefully you made it to the end and it didn't bore you to death. Going through the footage, you can obviously see how nervous we was when we first started, and as it goes on and on and on, I feel like we got a bit more comfortable, which is good. So we're getting there slowly. It's a journey, guys. It's a slow journey.